What is going on, everybody? Welcome to week number 9 preview video. We're going to be updating you guys on Little Rock's recruiting board, as well as Odessa State and Midland State. Both teams playing in a rivalry matchup this week. Figured why not show their recruiting battles as well. So we're going to be looking at Little Rock first. They had an absolutely huge week beating ACU, and you guys can see it right on the board already.
Wow.
LaQuinton Evans has committed to Little Rock, and I know where this dislike on this video is going to come from. I know where it's coming from. Mo Baba, custom recruit. He's been the biggest Denver Tech guy. This is his guy, LaQuinton Evans. And, you know, we have to do what's best for Little Rock in this case.
We try to do what's best for everybody.
For all the 12 teams,
because we are in charge of recruiting, so we can't really play favorites. Denver Tech needed some competition for a player of this caliber.
Yep.
And Little Rock was that competition. And the fact that they beat ACU at home basically did for them what Odessa beating Midland did last season. So you can see all the traction that they've had in recruiting. Guys like Darnell Savage, who wasn't even visiting that week. And he doesn't even have a visit scheduled.
Yeah.
Little Rock still finds themselves well in the mix, so they're going to keep going after him. They got Kyle Hill, made some headway here with guys like Marquardt. They signed Hayden Reed, and they do sign Keneal Mason.
That pissed me off so much. Keneal Mason, Dylan B, you guys, I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. You wanted to go to Ardmore. Dylan wanted Evans to go to Denver Tech. It's not going to work out. Sucks.
Well,
I wanted Keneal Mason really bad.
There's two ways this can go. There's two ways this can go. We either have to accept our fate, learn to love the Little Rock Battlehawks, or you can hold it against them for signing your guy. It is what it is. I hope you guys choose the former. Yep. I hope Little Rock gets a boost for you guys and you guys start to follow him around. But this is shaping up to be a very good recruiting class. They get a couple of these guys under my nose, like Anthony Williams, and they beat out Shreveport for a couple. Armani Roussel, now Little Rock in the lead there. So, you know, scheduling these visits when there's a huge game in town, huge rivalry game in town, is a big gambit, and it's actually, you know, it's a smart risk to take. They get Ranger Green, custom recruit out of Nebraska. They poached him out of from under my nose.
Little Rock just went absolutely hard on the recruiting front this season, and I think Buddy Monroe just saved his job.
Oh yeah, I mean, Buddy Monroe was really in an embattled situation. I don't know if we spent enough time on that in the previous video at the end there, but yeah, I mean, it's like he was struggling, and Little Rock was off to a bad conference start, 0-2. Somehow they beat the #1 team in the nation at home, and now we're starting to see dividends.
And he always seems to do this, though. Whenever he gets put, he doesn't really take the team over the top or like where they're supposed to be. He kind of shuffles his feet, drags his feet. And then when it finally comes down to being pushed into the corner, then he responds. And this is like his being pushed in the corner, and he responds. Like,
nobody puts Buddy in a corner.
Why is Mountain Dew so freaking good?
It's hilarious. It's just 7-Up and orange juice.
It's orange juice is in there?
7-Up and orange. That's
orange drink, not orange juice.
Yeah.
Like Fanta.
Wow, check this out. This is partially why we want to feature Midland this week. They've got a big game coming up against Odessa State, and I already talked about it, but they are going to try to do the reverse of what Odessa State did. It's a little bit early in terms of the visit schedule, but they are playing in a big-time rivalry at home.
Yep.
So if they win, 70% of this list is probably going to commit. And we're talking Darnell Savage, Hill, Fuqua, and Griffin Rivers, as well as Anthony Armstrong. So some custom recruits there, and let's sort by overall and see what we're looking at here. I mean, Darnell's 6th right now on their board. Griffin Rivers, they're in a little bit better spot, but it is a crowded leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually pulling for Amarillo right here, honestly, because I feel like that they need that type of player to push them over the top. This is a guy that can do everything. He can play quarterback a little bit, receive, play defense. He can do it all.
Absolutely, and like these guys are a little bit behind Claude Gray and Gabe Hill, guys that they want to get back in the mix on. They did sign Cedric Taylor out of Louisiana. Fuqua and Mays have locked Midland out, but we have a couple of
Just
these.
3.
Open the door. We got 3 of them.
Got to use them wisely. Use them
I feel
wisely.
like we want to do it on Fuqua because there's no other team builder teams in the mix. So I think
you like your athletes. I usually stick with the more like set positional players. Like I would have picked Jamal Mays for sure.
Well, yeah, but the problem is we're too far out for Mays. Although we have a visit, so maybe we'll get the points.
Yep.
Get close enough to unlock. I don't know. We were trying to go after this guy. You see, look at this list of team: Midland, Odessa, ACU, Denver, McAllen, and Ardmore.
Yeah.
We were all going after this guy, and he's just not feeling it out of Arizona. Maybe if we make up the ground after the visit, we might get close enough.
Like it might be available at that
To
point.
use that. And
Yeah.
Guy Edwards.
He's got a visit this week too.
So maybe, in case they win, if they beat Odessa, maybe they can get him signed.
Oh, now he's up to number 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could happen. Now you got to find some points to use on him though,
Right.
which we'll have to figure out in just a moment. But
Yeah, because we're kind of spent. We are a little bit spent here. Marquardt, I'm going to leave up to the top 4 there. I'll save that lock or door. I want to say lock because the sound makes it sound like you're like breaking a lock.
yeah, it's not breaking the door down.
No, that has a distinct sound.
SWAT team.
Let's see. Guy Edwards, I'll put the rest on, or should I put it on Fuqua? Dowdell's pretty close. Put the rest on Fuqua. That's the board right now for Midland State. They're going to have to win this week.
Seems like a new team that everybody's fallen in love with here, Odessa State. Let's take a look at their recruiting board. Griffin Rivers is down by a grand to Amarillo for Odessa, so they seem like they're going to be out of the running. I don't know when his visit is quite yet for them, but they're still going to be in the running. Week 10, so next week. You got Darnell Savage up there as well, Thomas Marquardt, Socrates Fortlow, Sam Dowdell. This is, again, a very good list for Odessa, and they're actually in the lead for a lot of guys. They're in a lot of these battles.
Yeah, and we're looking down here a little ways. Looking pretty good. Orlando Austin update. First place for Odessa State. Willie Kidd. Our teams have been making a pretty good move on there. ACU, Nebraska State, Denver Tech also getting in the mix. We're feeling it out, waiting to spend some points here. Guys like Takeo. I mean, we're trying to beat out Nebraska, so he really loves him some Nebraska, so we got to go with all of those points. And then down a little ways, just added some of these guys to the board after cleaning it up a little bit. But this could turn into a pretty good class, but the one thing they got to worry about is beating Midland State, because if they're in a lot of recruiting battles with some of these guys, Darnell Savage, Griffin Rivers, Marquardt.
Yeah, this board could just totally blow up if they don't.
Dowdell. So Mike Wyatt. I mean, he's visiting Midland this week. So if Midland beats Odessa, they're gonna lose on a lot of these guys. So and they don't. Their goal is to not make Midland better. They want these players.
Exactly.
So it's gonna be a double whammy if they lose this week.
Top 25 time, and Ardmore.
They don't deserve to be
number
up
one.
there. I don't see how they deserve to be up.
We're gonna be number 1 again after we beat Denver Tech this
Let's
week.
look at this resume here.
Yeah.
No wins over ranked teams. Oklahoma having a down season, 2-5. Actually, Amarillo, Midland. Okay.
But they weren't ranked at the time we beat.
I was talking
I
about
don't think.
non-conference. You have no ranked non-conference victories. Everybody has a losing record other than Central Florida.
Well,
Out of the American.
Hey, guess what? You see those 3 top 10 teams? We get them at home, baby.
Yes, that's
This is
very
lining
good.
up for a good season for us.
Right. This is the main thing, I think, for Ardmore is playing these teams at home. Then you have McAllen sitting at number 2. So they like McAllen more than Denver Tech right now. Which you can't blame them. Look at the defensive numbers.
I know, their defense is great. Defense is great. But again, like we've talked about with Denver Tech, seems like I always mention these two teams now, these two programs together now because of the offense they run.
Yeah.
How much of that defense production, that performance from the defense is contributing from the offense that they run? It's the same thing we talked about with Denver Tech for so many years, is that you're running the football, you're killing that clock. Is your defense really that good? It's the questions we ask.
Because they're scoring, so on a per possession basis, they're having a lot of success. Now look at who made this schedule for McAllen.
At. Wow.
That is harsh.
That's brutal. Yeah.
That is going to be very hard for McAllen to get through.
But if they get out of that, like, think about what that's going to do to the confidence. And the voters. The voters are going to be like, dude, you went on the road.
They can afford to drop one and stay in the Big 12 mix. It's just going to be who they lose to. I mean, you're talking Ardmore. ACU's already down a game. Denver Tech sitting here at number 3 in the nation, beating Baylor and Michigan. You want to talk about non-conference resume? They got it, man, unlike Ardmore. However, so far, no big conference wins yet.
55-0.
Yeah, but it's Shreveport.
That was
Shreveport and Uba.
This is what's scary, guys. They came off of a 55-0, and they're going to come into Ardmore next. So they've got us shaking in our boots a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Right now, we got Virginia Tech, Ohio State, Washington, Florida State at 5-1. ACU ranked 8th in the nation. They took it light in the non-conference schedule this year. They did beat Nebraska State, though, and that was a great, fun game. But they got the best of us at Little Rock with the loss. So that's looking at ACU. Marshall,
whoa,
number 9 in the nation.
I did not see. How did I not see this? They're number 9 in the nation.
Not really doing that much. It's a little soft.
Well, it's very soft.
Resume's a little bit soft here.
38-28, 31-28, 34-20 over Western Kentucky. That's pretty soft, man. Look at the opponents that they played. 2-4, 3-4. Only 2 teams.
Now I thought, I said a couple weeks ago, I think, like Marshall, like maybe BCS buster. I didn't see them getting up to number 9. Can't see them being ranked ahead of Michigan when their only loss was at Denver Tech, and they didn't even play that badly. But well, they're ranked over Alabama, who just lost to Arkansas. So M-Loop, if you are out there, you can take solace in virtual reality.
Yeah.
Because reality has not been kind.
No.
To Arkansas.
Yes.
And Michigan. Arkansas fans.
And Michigan.
You can at least say we beat Alabama in a computer.
And the Goldie Goes Gaming / Gold Glover 9 Dynasty of Big 12.
So there you go. Everything's right with the world. Nebraska State ranked 13th. We are right behind Alabama.
Woo!
How far we have come in these few seasons. Kansas A&M 5-2. Just lost to Midland and struggling. Amarillo sitting there. Midland jumps up after beating Camu. Little Rock gets ranked again. Number 22 after beating ACU.
Arkansas does the same.
Do we have anybody receiving some votes? Doesn't look like it. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 teams out of 12 in the top 25. We are dominating the sport.
Time for the He Is Man Watch. Ardmore's John Hicks goes down for not having played. That's a little tough. Robinson and Peters still in that 1 and 2 spots.
If you want to know who Brian Robinson is, I just renamed. I think it was Josh Jacobs.
Oh.
Or Najee. It was probably Najee Harris. I think Harris was in California. So he's just renamed. He's just insert random.
Nice job, Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson.
So you couldn't get you couldn't rename him to something like
no.
Cortez Wedlock.
Well, I just wanted to rename him to something generic, and figured that nobody would notice. But now that he's a senior, that means he's been in the game
for a long time.
Since he would have started in our year number 1 as a true freshman. So somebody out there would have said, "Hey, who's Brian Robinson?" That's who Brian Robinson is.
Let's talk about Napoleon McQueen, though. He got a boost upward after his game against Shreveport. 14 carries on how many yards? 122.
2 touchdowns, 6.3 yards per carry this season with the 9 scores.
It's a lot.
Looking good there. 195 receiving with 3 touchdowns. So he's looking very good. Now let's compare that to Robinson, who has 784 with the 10. 213. So I'd say he deserves to be ahead of McQueen right now, but we'll see what happens.
McQueen's a little more explosive, though, I feel like, because looking at Robinson's numbers, his longest run was like 15 yards. McQueen's his longest was 35.
Yeah, I think you got a point there. John Hicks, what do you have to say about John Hicks's stats?
They're pretty good, man. I mean, look at the passing yards right now. 1325 compared to 1642.
He was hurt last year.
He was hurt last year, but I think only for a couple weeks. So, but the production has been there. The production's been good for John Hicks. 16 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's gotten better. He's gotten more efficient. He's gotten better in that regard. 220 yards average per game, up from last season. And then the rushing attempts and the yards are up as well. And I think with about 6 more weeks to go, he's definitely going to surpass that 631 if we keep running the football with him. I hope that he doesn't get hurt. That's the biggest issue. We're talking about a national championship possibility, a Big 12 championship as well. We need this guy. I might tone it down on the running with. It's time for Players of the Week. NCAA All Honors, Zay Collins and Jacob Harrison. This guy, Jacob Harrison.
They beat Oregon 45-10.
Yeah.
Can you see that? I can't see that happening real life.
No.
I'm not going to say that. Whatever happened. Week number 8, Dexter Whiteside.
480.
Very good.
He had a good
5
season.
touchdowns.
Good week.
Elroy Palmer, although it was against Lamont Christian.
Very true.
So Buster Smith is starting for Broken Arrow this week. Lamont Christian is going to take a seat here as they try to figure something out, and while he's kind of a scrambling type, they see potential in the way he runs the passing offense.
Yeah, it seems like for whatever reason the players around him play a little extra hard for Buster Smith. Might be because he's been around the program for a while. He kind of knows how things work. He's been able to help the young guys along in the locker room and adjust. I don't know. People seem to respect Buster Smith a little bit extra.
Not sure what it is necessarily, but oh boy, Amiri Hayes Branson. But he can also use his legs. That's going to help him in some of these play action looks here, kind of like that.
And of course, the question is the CPU going to be smart enough to run these type of plays?
Oh, just missed him out there. Let's try that again. Rolling out.
Of course, Buster Smith would be like the perfect Nebraska State quarterback for you guys.
Oh yeah. BCS rankings. McAllen takes number 1.
What?
They like the resume just a fraction more than Ardmore. You see they have the same number down to the 1,000th.
Alphabetical. All the way. A goes before M.
Well, McAllen has that slaving edge over Ardmore, so virtually the same. Nebraska State, we're going to go up a spot to 12. I like that. Camu's up. They like Midland and Little Rock, so the BCS loves them some Big 12. Because you see up here, everybody is ahead of where they're actually slotted at, other than ACU and Denver.
And for good reason, the Big 12 is the best conference there is.
Let's look at some of these stat leaders right now, just really quick. It's not an official stat update, but we're just showing you the leaders in the entire NCAA. You see Cameron Willis here, the number 1 passer. Now, of course, there's some teams that are going to have an extra game on some other teams and players. So, you know, it's going to be about 300-yard differential there. But as of right now, Cameron Willis in first place. Seidel Riggins on the board in the rushing game. Obviously going to be behind Minnesota Air Force, Northern Illinois. Those teams love to run the ball.
Teams that run the ball. Wide receivers, Paris Austin taking the lead at 711, and then Lonnie Luke. Surprisingly, Lonnie Luke is up there. We never see him do anything inside the sim games,
well,
the tight games. But
few big games. Little Rock has not had a bye week yet in their conference, neither has Odessa State, so we do have to factor that in a little bit. Amiri Hayes Branson, Diggs, Colt Schaefer, and Rodney Lawrence. So our guys are cleaning up with the tackles. Joey Shonka with 8 sacks. And the Ardmore combo there.
And Florencio Woodridge and James Holmes, 2 Ardmore defensive ends, have 7 sacks apiece.
Okay, week number 9, everybody. This should be one of the biggest weeks to date.
Let's get it.
You got a 3:30 start time.
It's bogus.
This monster game.
It's bogus.
feel like ABC would shift this, or Fox would shift this to the 8 o'clock slot.
They should. It's 3v1, man. You got to be able to get us on prime time, not this bull crap.
And you only have one visiting prospect. It's Babatunde Terrell.
Babatunde! He's number
No.
563.
So we're going to get into this game right away.
Yes.
I'm picking Denver Tech.
You're picking Denver Tech.
Yeah.
The points per game is why you're doing it, aren't you? But the total offense, pass offense, defense.
I just think they're just a more balanced football team.
I'm going to go with myself. I'm going to have some confidence for once, guys. I never usually do. I'm more of a realist when it comes to this stuff, but this is not. If you're going with being a realist, take Denver Tech. If you want to believe in something, you want to hold on to the idea that Ardmore is finally going to make another Big 12 championship appearance, this is the game that we have to get.
Well, you're number
They're
two.
our biggest rival.
You're number 2, other than Broken Arrow, but
Right.
they're not as good.
They're not as good. This is our biggest rival.
Last time Denver Tech traveled to Ardmore, they lost. And that was the first time they had lost a football game in this dynasty. That was the first time. So you're hoping that the magic at your home field,
Ardmore Stadium.
Ardmore Stadium, is going to boost you through and get this W.
Yeah,
You're
let's
picking
do it.
Ardmore, though?
Yep, I'm picking Ardmore, baby. Let's go! Here's a crap game. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, judging by the offenses, you might be onto something. Where our offense has not been that good this year. Like, somehow we really turned it on against ACU with the 37 points, but you see some of these scores were not very good. Our defense can be had. However, I don't think we're going to struggle in slowing down Shreveport's rushing game. So there's been a lot of turmoil at Shreveport, even though they're 3-3. Like, I mean, you're Shreveport. You're not expecting to be really that much better than where you're at. This is not a program with championship aspirations.
Correct. Yes, there's a lot of fans that are upset. There's a lot of people that watch this series that are upset. They're like, God dang it, the Shreveport Skeeters, I want to see them win so bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're looking at it from a realistic glass here, how many times is Northern Illinois, if you're an alumni there, how many times is Northern Illinois going to give you what you want in a championship? These are the questions.
They win some MAC championships.
They do.
Once
They
in a
do.
while.
But Shreveport could eventually get there. Maybe eventually.
They're kind of like that team, though, that just kind of plods along, and it's frustrating, but they win enough to where the alumni really can't get that pissed off.
Right.
That's just where they're at right now. Although, like I said, they have had a pretty good stretch for where they have been in recent history.
That is true.
So you got to take that into account, dude, because before our dynasty started, they were in the toilet, and hey, they've made 3 consecutive bowl games.
Correct.
So they are doing very well for where they historically have been.
These are the expectations that we have to set for small-ish programs.
So the interesting question here is quarterback. Shreveport will be giving Kerry Ashley a chance, and that signals to me that maybe LaDuca is getting a little bit desperate.
Yes.
He's been a little testy with the media. Shreveport Booster's not thrilled with the job he's doing. He's an NFL guy, and you know how this usually goes. I mean, the NFL guys are usually
hard asses.
a little old hat, though, is where I'm getting. He's an NFL guy, so you kind of know where this trends a little outmatched in terms of scheme. They're stubborn. They don't want to expand the playbook. They want to keep things the way the pros do them, but it doesn't really translate all the time in college football. That's where Shreveport's at. I'm picking myself. Same?
Yeah, I would definitely go with Nebraska State. The question is who's going to play quarterback for Nebraska State? So you talked about Shreveport having some quarterback issues. Shanowski's going to start.
Yeah, he played great against ACU.
What's
outside of that pick?
What is Graham Keith feeling about this?
We don't know yet. I mean, right now he's the backup. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if he's happy. I mean, he might get a chance in this game. I mean, if Shanowski struggles, hey, we have proven that we have short leashes around here. Not afraid to do it.
Isn't that a stretch? All right, and perhaps, well, maybe it's one of the best games of this week. I wouldn't say it's a game of the week, though.
No.
It's definitely Ardmore and Denver Tech. But this is definitely a good game here. 2 teams, 1-1 in conference. Odessa Midland. You can't get any better than this.
Passing games are really, really good. Of course, we know that Dexter Whiteside versus Cameron Willis should be a really fun game. You're looking at the pass defense, pass defense numbers.
Terrible.
The pass defense numbers, really bad. Really bad. Should be exploited in this game. Should be a lot of fun, a lot of points. Paris gonna go over 100 yards this week. He didn't against whoever they played last week.
That was an anomaly.
Who did they play last week?
Not Little Rock.
They lost.
Yeah.
Amarillo.
Yeah, that's it.
Did not go over 100 yards against Amarillo last week. Will he do it this week?
He will do it because, simply put, he is more experienced. He's a JUCO receiver. He's having a really good season. He's the #1 receiver in the NCAA as far as receiving yards go. And this is a young secondary for Midland State. He might get 200 yards.
That's why I'm actually going to pick Odessa in this game. I think we harp on it, but it's true. Midland secondary is not up to the task. They beat Camu last week, I think, because Jace Freeman was bad.
Yeah.
I don't think it had anything to do with Midland secondary shutting down Camu's offense. I think Freeman just had an off game. And I don't think Cameron Willis is going to have an off game.
I think his girlfriend broke up with him. Thor's Chris Hemsworth.
That's a fact.
He had a rumor circulating around that that's what ended up happening.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of these things that happen in life like that. And it affects your performance. It really does.
Jace Freeman's girlfriend must have broken up with him because he's way off. Definitely not the same Jace from games and seasons past. I would agree with that. I think he was going through a little hardship there. And speaking of Jace Freeman, number 17 Camu against number 18 Amarillo. This is a game that's going to be a toss-up. I firmly believe that. I have no idea who to pick in this game. Amarillo is hot. They've got the chip on their shoulder. The program is back. Camu feels like they got something to prove as well. But the question is have they been able to prove to us, the viewer, that they're capable of coming through in the clutch? And they haven't been.
Not quite, but neither has Amarillo. But Brock Musselman, this is a new look team. And Camu had a very good start to the year, beating Little Rock and Arkansas. Maybe they can only beat ranked teams from the state of Arkansas. I don't know what that's about. But losing to McAllen and Midland, that's just a tough way to really begin to kick off their conference play. And Amarillo had the one loss to Ardmore, but they were really good offensively in that game. They've been pretty good all year outside of that Stanford game, but they still pulled off the W.
Right.
Defensively, this team is looking good. They're at home. I'm going to lean towards Camu, though. I think Camu, I just think they're a little more talented on offense.
When I'm seeing Camu, I just feel like they're not finding ways enough to get their playmakers the football. Like Jamil Carter had those 2 catches on the 4 verts play that he caught to get that touchdown at the half. That's the one thing that I remember, but they're not getting him the football. Diego Dobbs seems to be like a really good runner. Doug Flores as well. They're just, for whatever reason, not using those guys and getting them into open spaces. Amarillo, on the other hand, they're scheming their guys open. Bollinger's been good. Ezekiel Henry has been solid. Quan's been good. John Hunter is making plays. I like Amarillo in this game. So I'm going to take Amarillo in this one. I think that they get the W. McAllen at ACU, another big game on tap here. Number 2 against number 8. 6-0 McAllen against 5-1 ACU.
Plus 15 in turnover differential.
That is insane. Insanity.
We looked at that schedule earlier. And defense looking really good, even though they're a B+, but they're 6th in the nation.
ACU gave up the football like how many times against Little Rock as well? 3 or 4? I think Rivers
gave up 3 turnovers.
Yeah, so they gave up 3 turnovers, so they were pretty sloppy in that game.
I'm going to take ACU in this game. I believe that ACU right now just needs to come back strong after a really lackluster game. I don't think they saw themselves dropping that game, but that's one of the pitfalls of this conference. It's just a deep conference, so you got to bring it every week. I think it's a little bit of a wake-up call. I would just have a hard time seeing ACU 1 and 2 in conference play. But even if McAllen loses, like I talked about, they can afford to drop one of these road games. But they just have to be clean from that point forward. We'll see, though. I mean, McAllen, though, like we're talking about it, the defense looks so good that
15 turnover differential, man.
It's gonna be tough.
That's insane.
Who are you picking?
I'm gonna take McAllen. I think I'm gonna just keep on riding that Denver Tech offense with Leroy Jackson at the helm. I think this team is extremely legit, and you know what? A lot of people are not used to this, talking about McAllen as a legitimate force. Little Rock at Broken Arrow, it seems like always the last game that we talk about is the one that seems like a gimme. I think Little Rock takes this one just because of the offense, and Gunnar Rivers' defense played well against ACU. Broken Arrow doesn't have a lot going on for him, guys. Even with the quarterback change with Buster Smith, I still don't think they get it done.
Yeah, I don't want to diss on Buster Smith, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference because Lamont Christian's just higher rated. I think this is just a desperation move to try to get back in the mix to try to qualify for a bowl game. But I mean, if they're gonna do that, they got to go 4-1 the rest of the way, and
that ain't gonna happen.
I mean, they play Little Rock. They still have Shreveport on the slate. I mean, they got to beat Little Rock, though, to even think about a bowl game. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Unless they go unless they get the 5-7 treatment, not going to happen. Little Rock's going to win this one. Gunnar Rivers is going to get them back to 500.
All right, guys, so that is going to be it for the Week 9 preview. Make your picks for Week 9 in the link in the comment section, in a pinned comment, and in the description below. You can make your picks on the website at goldglovergaming.com in the pick center in the NCAA football section. Heelboy will have his picks and previews up and ready to view. I believe he's had a couple perfect picks for...
Probably not last week.
So guys, we haven't actually done this in quite a while. We were gonna kind of implement this in the last few Wednesday videos, but we just didn't get the time to it and didn't get around to it. We have done this in the past where we used to go through every week and take a look at your guys' picks and see who did what and kind of analyze the decision making and the thought process. Look at who picked Little Rock.
Ooh, so Diabolist, and we have a couple.
Bash.
Whoa.
So Bash Gaming, Braden Austin, then Diabolist.
Good calls, guys.
Jeez, how did you guys do that?
Midland beating Camu was a bit of an upset, and then Amarillo over Odessa.
So Portugal, Teddy, Thor, Franken, yeah, you guys, J-Rock, Evan Cook, you took Midland State. Wow, would not have done that. I would have taken Camu for sure, but we have Portugal jump back into the lead. I think Sharpay was in first there for a while, but he kind of fell off. Diabolist is always performing well. He's always a guy you guys got to watch out for. Heelboy obviously is always right there, always up there. Thor's Chris Hemsworth had a really good week, so kudos to you, sir, getting up to 71. So you guys that are down here, even in the mid-60s, are still in this, because look at what happened this week. Like, a lot of guys got a lot of games wrong.
So maybe if you're in that middle of the pack, you sort of have to zig, and everybody else is zagging. Something to think about if you want to make up that ground. You got a few weeks left to go, though, so we got plenty of time. But
yeah, you guys that are down
you guys are down here, keep playing, though.
Keep playing.
We encourage you to keep playing for fun.
Yes, keep playing for fun, even though you're not probably going to catch these guys. Because these guys have way too much to gain now. They're like, we're going to be playing
guys
every
that
single
missed
day.
Missed a couple weeks, going to have a hard time coming back. But it is what it is. Keep playing for fun. Keep following along. Good luck to you guys out there.
So, who are you taking? Denver Tech, Ardmore? Are you taking Odessa State, Midland State, McAllen ACU? These are really tough games for week number 9. I wish you guys luck. And I'm going to try my hardest to get all of the headlines and things updated on the website so you guys can read those and get caught up. So that's going to be it for today's video. Leave a like if you like this thing. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that red button for subscribe or my logo in the bottom right-hand corner. We upload these videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Games on Saturday, previews on Wednesdays.
We will have it at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
We will.
It's guaranteed.
We will.
It's a guarantee.
This is the editor over here.
Yeah. Look, been a little busy with work and things. I work on Saturdays on occasion, so it's been tough. We've had to get these done on Friday, late Friday.
Yep.
So that's kind of just how it goes.
I think after this, I'm gonna play my game after this.
Ooh. Oh, so we'll know what happens before they do.
Before they do, yeah.
Okay.
Try not to let it slip.
Yep.
Can you do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Trust me.
Sweet. That's it. That's all we got, guys. So, like I said, make your picks. Leave a like if you like this thing. We'll see you guys on Saturday, 11 a.m. He said so. Hold him to it. Accountability. We'll see you guys in the next one.